PNR Networks is a member of Patreon. Show your love for our shows by joining our ongoing fundraising campaign and get some fantastic perks in return. Check it out and become a Patreon sponsor. You can sign up at patreon.com, patreon.com/PNR Networks. And thanks for your support.
She just goes a little mad sometimes.
Do you ever feel like you're normal and the rest of the world has lost its collective mind?
Put your helmet on. We'll be reaching speeds of 3.
Do you find people saying this to you a lot?
Are you totally deranged?
Are you looking for a looking glass to pass through?
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Or looking for a rabbit hole to fall down?
Who could think of a better punishment, really? Everything's the same here. It's just a little worse.
Guess what?
Life's a bitch. Now so am I.
You've found it. Welcome to Platinum Rose's Garden.
Well, hello, my darlings. This is Platinum Rose Lady welcoming you to Platinum Rose's Garden on Sunday, December 3rd, 2017. Well, here we are, almost at the curtain call of 2017. Man, that feels weird, doesn't it? This year just went, pew, it just flew by. It's so crazy. I hope everybody had a good week. My week was pretty good, as things go. Had a birthday, which was, neat. It's weird when you have a birthday when you're younger. When you're like a little kid, and it's all cake and ice cream and parties and piñatas and hopefully not clowns. But you think, oh, wow, life is stretching in front of me and it's, this long, endless road and stuff. And you think, what am I going to be like when I'm 21? That seems like forever away. And then you turn 21 and you're like, okay, now what? I don't want to make anybody out there feel bad. If you're a teenager, actually, if you're a teenager, I don't know if you should be listening to this show because I get very sweary, but you know that by now. If you're still a young person and you're like at a point in your life where you're like, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm at a crossroad, not that crossroad, hopefully. Being Supernatural fans, we all avoid crossroads now, don't we? If you're in a place, though, I do want to say, if you're in a place where you're like, I don't know what to do and I'm confused and all that stuff, it does get better. It does. It does get better. Really. Seriously. I'm not fucking around. High school doesn't last forever. The people you see in high school, that treat you like shit right now, you're never going to see them again after school, if you're lucky. But, I had the whole birthday thing and got some really amazing presents and birthday wishes and stuff. And presents are nice and I love presents, but birthday wishes are even better from people that you love and care for. And I was like, I woke up the next morning and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, wow, for somebody who's years old now, you look okay. I was like, you're rocking it, girl. Good for you. It's like, see, the thing is, what you have to do is when you get up in the morning, I know this sounds stupid. I know it sounds goofy, but when you get up in the morning and you're like, in front of your mirror and stuff, just take a look at yourself for a minute. If you got up today and made it to the mirror and didn't, walk into a wall and bust your nose or break a toe or do something, hey, you started the day off good. It's got to keep going up from there, right? So just, and love yourself. Look at the person in the mirror and go, you're okay. You're an okay person, My mom always used to tell me that you have to love yourself before anybody else will love you. And I know you hate admitting when your parents are right. Doesn't that just gall you? But sometimes, every once in a while, they're right. And it's true. You have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. Not like love yourself in like a total egotistic douchebaggy way, but just look at yourself and go, I'm okay. You know, I am not a failure. I am not a flop. I am not a bad person. I fuck up every once in a while, but that's what life is about. Life is about fucking up, learning from it, getting up, and moving on. You know, it's the whole thing from Batman Begins. Why do we fall? You know, to get up again. Okay. Obviously, we have some big supernatural news that I want to talk about right now, which is incredibly exciting and makes me very, very happy because now we have another person that is going to be joining the cast of Supernatural, who has a tie into the show in the fact that she's married to one of the stars. We all know that the beautiful and talented Genevieve Padalecki appeared on the show as Ruby, and she and Jared, you know, met and fell in love and got married and had a passel of beautiful children. And now, Jensen's lovely and charming wife, Danielle, is going to be joining the show, which is amazing and so cool. I don't know. I can't think of any other show that's happened on. I'm sure it totally has, but I can't think of any. I just think that I think it's awesome. Danielle is going to be joining season 13. She's going to be playing a faith healer who is called Sister Joe. She is going to make her first appearance in episode 13 of season 13, which is going to be called Devil's Bargain. So she's going to be appearing in 1313. Yay? We'll go with yay. We'll just assume that that's double good luck. We'll go with that. Naive? Hopelessly naive? Who are you talking about? That can't be me. No, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. I think Danielle is fantastic and amazing. And she's in one of my favorite movies, which is 10-Inch Hero, which I love. And she and Jensen are such a beautiful couple. And you can tell how much they love each other. And they also have a passel of beautiful children. And I am so excited and so thrilled and so very happy, and I just really kind of hope that, you know, Dean doesn't have to kill her, because that would be awkward. I don't know how Jared's going to explain that in a few years. You know, it's like, well, Daddy had to hold Mommy while Uncle Jensen stabbed her in the stomach. Yeah, that's going to be a fun conversation. Think back to the most awkward conversation you ever had with your parents and multiply that by about 1 billion. I don't envy either of them. But anyway, so let's go on from there to what's coming next on my show, and that's this week's fanfic of the week. Okay, this week's fanfic of the week is near and dear to my heart. As anybody who knows me and has known me for a while, or don't know me for a while, probably would tell you I am a huge Warzy. I have been a Star Wars fan going all the way back to when the first film came out in the 1970s. Yes, we did have movie theaters back then. And I have been a devoted Star Wars fan ever since, seen all the movies, read a ton of the books, could quote Star Wars to the complete annoyance of my dear, sweet, beloved Snuggle Bunny, who probably gets really sick of hearing it. He likes Star Wars, but he's not a Warzy. And since I am a Warzy, and since Star Wars The Last Jedi will be coming out later on this month, excuse me for just a second. Sorry, had to squeal like that. I know. I just squealed like a girl at a Justin Bieber concert. I know. Don't judge me. I am very, 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 very excited, as you might be able to tell. So, since we are starting off the new month, I figured I would introduce the new month with the fanfic of the week being a Star Wars fanfic. And this is an epic. This sucker is still going on. It is 52, count them, 52 chapters long. My gosh. This person is very, 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 very much loving Star Wars, which is a very good thing. Their name on fanfiction.net is irhinoceri. I hope I said that even close to correct. We'll just hope and assume that I did. I'm going to spell it for you guys too, so you can search them out if you like. Their name is all lowercase letters, irhinoceri. Irhinoceri, I guess. They have written 2 fanfic in the fanfiction.net section for Star Wars and Star Wars The Clone Wars. And when you think 2 fanfic, the reason I think they've written 2 fanfic is because they've gone completely like Game of Thrones with the one that I'm going to suggest, in the fact that it's just this continuing saga. It is so amazing to me when people can write this much. I mean, if you're that talented, somebody should probably be paying you. But anyway, irhinoceri has written a fanfic called Out of the Dark Valley. And I will now give you the synopsis as appears on fanfiction.net. Quote, 15 years after Revenge of the Sith, Vader time travels backwards through the Force to the moment he most regrets. In an alternate timeline, he has the opportunity, that's a hard word to say, to change his and Padme's tragic fates. But reliving the past and making a new future will prove to be no easy task, and the sins of the father will have lasting effects on the next generation. Skywalker Family AU Ensemble POV, end quote. Oh my gosh, this thing is so incredible. It is so amazing. I have to be perfectly honest in saying the fact that usually I hate time travel shit, because usually it gives me a big fucking headache. But this is done so well. It's really amazing. I mean, the whole idea that inside of Darth Vader was still Anakin Skywalker, who was living with the regret of what he had done and what he had become and what he had turned into, and how he had found a way to try and make things right. But the thing is, the time stream being what it is, I mean, depending upon your opinion of these kind of things, you know, whether it's the whole, you know, linear thing and everything's predetermined and that's the way it's going to go, it's set in stone, or if it's all like the, you know, timey-wimey stuff. Thank you, Doctor Who. I love that phrase now. You know, it's the whole idea of if you pull on one thread in the tapestry, the whole thing starts to unravel, and then when you sew it back together, the pattern's never going to be quite the same, you know. And what this person has done with this story, when Anakin makes his choices in the past and the way they affect the future and the way that they completely cause all kinds of unintended ripples throughout the Star Wars universe. It is so well written. It is so in character. I can hear the voices of the characters in my head. And I love it when that happens when I'm reading something, you know. It's so cool when that happens to you. You get so immersed in a story. So if you're a Warzy, if you're a fan of the idea that, you know, people should try and, you know, find a way to fix their mistakes and stuff like that, definitely check out of the Dark Valley by irhinoceri on fanfiction.net. Put their name in the search engine or just type on Google Out of the Dark Valley fanfic, probably. I hope you will definitely go check this fic out because it's truly incredible. And if you do check it out, please give the author some love. Send a little note along saying, you know, send him a review saying, hey, you know, I liked your stuff. And because we love that as authors. So that's this week's fanfiction of the week.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest.
Season 13, Episode 8 of Supernatural. The Scorpion and the Frog. The then of the episode deals with Jack, who had attempted to help the Winchesters capture a ghoul in Tombstone, but unfortunately wound up killing an innocent bystander. And Jack, feeling guilt-ridden, leaves the bunker and winds up on the run, and we don't know where he is. We see Castiel and Lucifer, who is back in our dimension, or the Winchester's dimension, I suppose would be the best way to put it, being captured by Asmodeus, who is also searching for Jack. We find out that Arthur Ketch, as it turns out, is not dead, or actually was dead and got better. It's supernatural, don't ask. And that he is now apparently working with Asmodeus, and also Castiel's vow to protect Jack. And now we are at Now. And Now is in Cambridge, England on a Friday evening before a museum is about to close. We see a woman go into a museum. Over the loudspeaker, we hear them announce that the museum is going to be closing in 15 minutes. She makes her way downstairs into the parts of the museum that, tourists and, museum goers, patrons, aren't supposed to go. She manages to break into a specific room and takes out 2 pieces of parchment, obviously very old and covered with this archaic writing, and she puts them in her purse. At this point, she is surprised by a security guard who asks her what she's doing there, and we find out at this point the woman is possessed because black smoke leaves her body and her body drops, and the smoke enters into the security guard, who is promptly possessed by the demon. The demon brings the bag outside to another figure who asks what Asmodeus will reward them with, and the demon winds up being stabbed by someone who looks like they're carrying an angel blade. And this other person takes out a phone and calls Dean Winchester. And now we get the opening credits, and which, if I haven't mentioned recently, I love for season 13. And we open up in the Batcave in Lebanon, Kansas. There's been no sign of Mr. Ketch or of Jack, Sam reports. He had spoken to Castiel, which we know is actually Asmodeus, disguising his voice and pretending to be Cass. Sam and Dean are clearly worried about Jack. Dean gets a call, and this is when we see the call that we saw earlier. This person telling them that he might have something that they're interested in, a way to track down their Nephilium. Sam and Dean meet with this person at a diner, who turns out to be a demon named Barthamus, the demon that we saw in the alley that killed the other demon. What he is offering is actually a Nephilium tracking spell. It turns out that Barthamus is the new king of the Crossroad demons. He's the one that wound up taking Crowley's place when Crowley pretty much crowned himself king of hell. He gives the Winchesters half of the spell, gives it to them, lets them keep it. The other half of the spell, he says that will be theirs for a favor. Now, we all know that favors from, the word favor and crossroad demon really shouldn't be in the same sentence. That's never a good sign. But he does tell the Winchesters, he tells Sam, being the smart one, to check the spell over and see if it looks accurate so that they know that he's not trying to screw with them. And he leaves. He ordered Dean a piece of pie before he left, and Dean, we see Sam looking over the piece of paper while Dean eats the pie. Hey, it's pie. You're not going to let it go to waste. Back at the Batcave, Sam's checking out the spell. It turns out that it's legit. It was a spell created by King Solomon to keep tabs on his girlfriend, his love, the Queen of Sheba, who according to this spell apparently, was a Nephilium. Alrighty. I don't remember that part of Sunday school, but Dean's really doubtful about going along with this idea. He just knows that it's going to end sideways. And Sam pretty much knows the same thing, but he's of the opinion they don't really have any choice. Jack is out there by himself. He's, frightened. He's alone. He's really, I hate when Sam uses the word, but he's right. He's dangerous. He doesn't mean to be dangerous, but he is, just by the very nature of what he is. We see Sam and Dean meeting up with Barthelmess and his associates, who he refers to as Smash and Grab. I'm sorry, did anybody else get a vibe of the old Batman series from the 1960s, or was it just me? It was just me. All right, it's just me. Smash is a young woman, and Grab is a youngish man who it turns out is a demon. They are needed for what the favor is, which as Dean correctly puts it, it's a heist. What they're going to be heisting is a specific chest that is in the possession of a man named Luther Shrike. Shrike is a recluse and a obsessive collector of occult objects. And also, according to Barthelmess, he is a sadist and a murderer and not a very nice man from the sound of things. But this is what needs to happen in order for the Winchesters to get the other half of this spell. They need to help Smash and Grab get into this guy's place and get the chest. The reason that the Winchesters are needed, specifically Dean is needed, is that one thing that is necessary for the whole getting into this vault where where the chest is the fact that it is required that you have blood from a man who has been to hell and back. And I don't mean has had a really rough life. I mean literally has been to hell and come back from hell. And all eyes on Dean. Although, actually, Sam would qualify for that, too. I mean, I don't know if what they mean by went to hell was dragged to hell, like most people, by hellhounds or whatever, or by somebody throwing themselves into hell like Sam did. Maybe that negated it. I don't know. But Barthelmess wants Dean for the job. As it turns out, this guy, Shrike, also survived, went to hell, and came back. We do get a nice flashback shot of Dean in hell, which all of us remember from the end of season 3 anyway. Dean hanging there, bloody, hooks tearing into his flesh, screaming out for Sam. You remember that scene? The one that probably made a lot of people raid their liquor cabinets? I would have raided mine, but medical reasons prevent, and I also had to do this recap for you guys, because I love you that much. So my liver thanks you. The thing is, if the Winchesters are like, Sam and Dean are like, this is not a good idea, and we know it's not a good idea, and we're probably not going to do it, but they also know now, because of Barthelmess' answer to them, if they say no, the spell is going to go to Asmodeus, who will definitely use it to find Jack, and stuff will go fucking terribly wrong. Sam and Dean go off to discuss what they need to do, and they decide that they're going to do it, even though they know that Barthelmess is probably going to fuck them over the first chance that he gets. And Sam says, so let's do this. Have him hand over the other half of the spell. Dean responds, and then? Sam answers, and then, like you said, we kill him. Is it wrong that I was like, oh, when that happened? It's wrong that I had that kind of reaction, isn't it? Oh, Sam, the things you do to me. The things I'd like you to do to me. Anyway, moving on. We're over here now. We cut to the home of Mr. Shrike, who we've been talking about this whole this episode so far. He has a house guest in the form of a demon who has come to let him know that Barthamus is coming for him and coming to get the chest, and that, you know, it's in Luther's best interest to side with Asmodeus. Luther's response to this is to exorcise the demon and to actually show the demon that he's actually standing in a devil's trap, which was underneath the rug that the demon's standing on. Luther exorcises the demon from the person's body, who promptly falls to the ground. I'm assuming they're dead. I don't know. He tells the demon Smoke as it's departing that he doesn't answer to Asmodeus or anybody else. You know, he's going to do this his way. So we cut to an evening shot of this house and the gate in front of the house at the end of this long winding drive, with the Impala pulling up and Sam having to talk to one of those video things where he says that he is there to sell a family heirloom. He gives his name as John Dortmunder, and that he's there to sell something that has been in his family. The camera is thankfully focused on him and not on the back seat of the Impala, but since Dean and Smash are hiding back there underneath tarps and like blankets and stuff, they couldn't be seen. It's kind of tense for a minute because nothing happens, but then the little buzzer thing goes buzz and the gates open up and Sam drives the Impala inside. Before he gets to the building, Dean and Smash get out of the back of the car, and Dean walks up to the window. Sam says, Dean responds, and he's like, Dean, don't get dead. Dean's response is, you too. Which is the longest declaration of, I miss you, my brother. I'm glad you're here. We're going to get through this. We're going to be all right. I love you, Dean. Yeah, I love you too, Sam. But they're men, so, you know, they can't actually say that, so we just don't get dead. You too. In the words of Dot Warner from Animaniacs, boys. So, now we've got Dean and Smash outside in the grounds of this place, trying to find how to get in to get to this vault. And Sam meets with Mr. Shrike, who lets him into the house, doesn't open the door. Everything's like all this automatic shit, like, so he doesn't have to touch stuff. It's very weird. Dean and Smash are in what looks like kind of a barn, kind of a garage place, where Dean sets up a ritual to summon a demon so they can get Smash so they can get Grab in there, because he can't get on the grounds because they're warded, so he needs help from Dean. Dean and Smash manage to bond over energy drinks because Dean notices that Smash is drinking some kind of, their version of Jolt Cola, which if you've never had, I don't even know if they make Jolt anymore. It's like 12 times the caffeine in a normal soda. Dean mentions how he used to live off of that when he was a kid, and that kind of broke my heart. That really broke my heart, because I was thinking, like, you were a kid drinking, like, the caffeine version of Jägermeister? Really? Where were your parents telling you to... Oh, yeah, Mary was obviously dead, and John was... Not gonna do it, because I don't want to get screamed at by all the John lovers. Smash actually gives Dean a can of this stuff, which Dean manages to drink and not spit out, because, I'm sorry, if it's anything like Jolt, that stuff is nasty. So they do Dean does the summoning spell, and Grab is summoned into the barn. It turns out that Dean's blood is what is necessary to open the vault, to track down, not only to open the vault, but to track down the vault as well. They find this, Dean's kind of like, wait, what? They find this out when Grab starts reciting this spell, and he chants this spell, and it's all dark and impressive, and he's finished. And nothing happens. And Dean's sort of standing there like, is something supposed to happen? Am I supposed to have blood coming out of my eyes or something? He's kind of looking around like, what? And all of a sudden his arm violently swings out. Basically, he's become a human compass. The blood in his veins is going to point them to where the vault is located with the chest in it. It's funny as fuck. I'm sorry. It's funny. I'm sorry. Jensen Ackles has such a wonderful flair for physical comedy because the look on Dean's face is like, what in the fuck? I can't control my fucking body. Oh man, this is embarrassing. It's really, really funny. In the house, Sam is sharing a drink with Mr. Shrike, a home brew of he makes his own gin. Charming. Sam's taking note of the artifacts and all of the occult paraphernalia in the room. Mr. Shrike makes a comment about would Sam like to see a basilisk's fang, which anybody who saw Harry Potter knows what one of those looks like. It turns out that Sam, after looking at the so-called basilisk's fang, which is very hard to say, informs Mr. Shrike that it's actually the tooth of a gorgon. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. It turns out what Sam's offering to sell, his cover, is Ruby's demon-killing knife. I'm like, Sam, please don't lose that. Y'all really need that. Please, Sam, I'm not kidding. Dean, who is complaining all the way, and I don't really blame him, to Grab, who finds the whole situation hilarious, leads him, Smash and Grab, to what looks like one of those storm cellars that has the doors that, swing open to either side, but there's no lock on it. So that obviously means that the person who's got stuff in there is very confident people aren't going to get in. Dean and Smash go inside. Grab is of the opinion that he's not going until he's needed, and he doesn't feel needed right now. It turns out they go into the cellar, they look around, the lights come on. Dean and Smash see a door at one end of this room that's all full of tools and stuff. The door is obviously not just your average door. It's all covered with these weird symbols, and right in the center of the door is this kind of figure. It's the head of a figure. It looks like, like the mouth is open. It's kind of like a dragon or a foo dog from a Chinese mythology or something like that. It turns out that that's the lock. And for the lock to get opened, Dean has to stick his hand in there. Back in the house, Shrike winds up attacking Sam, thinking that Sam is another demon who works for Barthamus. Shrike manages to grab a gun and takes a shot at Sam, which misses, thank goodness. When he goes to reload, Sam grabs the knife, and the demon-killing knife, and stabs Shrike in the stomach, which does nothing other than wreck a perfectly good shirt. Shrike, needless to say, just slowly pulls the knife out, telling Sam that as long as he is on his land, Shrike can't be killed. Shrike grabs the rock that has now we know it's a Gorgon's tooth in it, and smashes Sam upside the head and knocks him out cold. Okay, fuck you, and the horse you rode in on, and in case I didn't mention it, fuck you. You can do a lot of bad shit, you don't damage Sam. That's, you want to piss a Samazon off really quick. That don't hurt the pretty. Dean eventually sticks his hand in the mouth of the lock so it'll open. It takes him a little bit to psych himself up. To be perfectly honest with you, Dean, I don't blame you a bit, precious. I don't blame you at all. Because he's worried there could be spiders in there, or snakes, or spiders. Dean apparently has a thing about spiders. I don't really blame him there either. I mean, I don't hate spiders, but I'm not sticking my hand in something where a spider might be. That's not cool. So he sticks his hand into the mouth of the lock, and at first nothing seems to happen. The problem is all of a sudden he can't pull his hand out because his hand has been seized by this kind of weird steampunk clockwork kind of thing. And one of his fingers is stuck by a little needle, which makes a little drop of blood come out, which hits this disc, which opens the door. Of course, when the actual needle went into Dean's hand, he kind of did shriek, and it was kind of high-pitched. Not that I blame him. So the door opens up, and there's the safe down at the other end of the room. The thing is, it's not going to be that easy. Anybody who's played Dungeons and Dragons, and I know you're out there, knows it's never that easy. Which Smash almost finds out the hard way when she steps on one of the tiles on the floor, the floor is covered with tiles that kind of look like the symbols on the door, and a dart shoots out of the wall and almost hits her in the neck. It's only Dean's quick reflexes that manage to save her from who knows what. We see outside where Grab is yelling down the stairs, what's going on? Is everything okay? And he has a moment of like, oh, no one cares about me. Before he turns around, he turns and he's stabbed by Shrike, who's come up behind him and stabs him and kills him because he's got Ruby's demon killing knife. When Dean and Smash realize they're not alone, Shrike's standing at the doorway. Smash kicks him in the leg and manages to run away, but not after. But as she runs out, climbs up the stairs, runs. She sees Grab's body on the ground. Dean and Shrike wind up facing off. Dean's got a gun. Shrike has a knife. Dean's thinking, advantage me. But it doesn't work out that way. Dean shoots Shrike several times to absolutely nothing. When Shrike charges at Dean, knife raised, all of a sudden there's Sam's voice calling out Dean's name. Shrike turns and Sam's there yelling to Dean that he's immortal, and Dean punches Shrike hard enough to knock him out. We come to the next scene, and Shrike has been tied to a pillar in the basement, and Dean questions him about how to get into the room and get into the safe without springing all the traps, which Shrike refuses to tell them. Although he does tell them what is in the darts. What's in the darts is pretty much anything that would screw with a human, and pretty much anything you can think of that's supernatural. The darts have a mixture of arsenic, silver, holy water, and holy oil in them. So if you're a human, you're not going to be feeling real good. If you're a supernatural being, you're going to be feeling even less good. Dean winds up slapping his mouth shut with duct tape. We cut to Smash, who has made it to the gates of the Shrike land. When she tries to leave, Barthelmess is there outside the gate. We find out during a conversation that they have that Smash's real name is Alice. And Barthelmess is of the opinion this job isn't done because I don't have what we came for. Sam and Dean are trying to figure out how to get into this room without tripping off all of the darts. Sam makes a reference to the movie Entrapment, which Dean is kind of surprised Sam knows what that is. It turns out Sam watched it because Sam's got the hots for Catherine Zeta-Jones. Sam has really good taste. Sam's like, I have an idea, and Sam's plan, as it turns out, is to take Mr. Shrike, tie him to a chair, and push the chair into the room, let it slide across the floor. He takes the hit from all the darts, which don't hurt him, because, hello, he's immortal, so they can just walk in. And amazingly enough, this works. I was like, I don't believe that worked. That's so awesome. They're standing in front of the safe trying to figure out how to open it when Smash returns, and they find out what her deal is with Barthamus, and it is a deal. It's a literal deal. She sold her soul, and as long as she does Barthamus's jobs, does his bidding, he won't collect on her soul. Smash opens the safe pretty handily. You know what? Actually, from now on, I'm going to call her Alice, because we know her name's Alice. The Winchesters grab the chest, and they exit the room to find out that Shrike has escaped his bindings. That's an oh shit moment. The Winchesters and Alice are blocked from leaving. They get out to the baby, they get in the car, they start driving down the road. They're blocked by Shrike, who's blocked the road with a truck. When he starts pushing the truck forward, Dean starts driving backwards, and Sam shoots out one of the tires because they're the fucking Winchesters, damn it. Everybody gets out of their vehicles, and we have a bit of a standoff, and Shrike explains what his story is. It turns out he had made a deal with Barthamus, all those years ago to save his son, who was ill. But a few years later, his son wound up dying anyway. He drowned, and Barthamus collected on the deal, and Shrike went to hell. But apparently before he went to hell, he had a plan of his own, because he made a deal in hell to come back. And we find out what his bargaining chip was. It's in the trunk. Sam and Dean open the trunk up, and there are Barthamus's bones. And we know from Weekend at Bobby's, from, all way back in the day, that, if you burn a demon's bones, that kills them for good. Shrike tries to reason with Sam and Dean, telling them that they're on the bad side here, when he's suddenly and violently decapitated by Barthamus, who appears behind him. And since he's not on his land anymore, he's not in the house anymore, Shrike is very much dead. Barthamus hands Smash, or like Alice, a big wad of money, big nice roll of money, and offers the Winchesters the other half of the spell. He actually does seem to be keeping his side of things, at first anyway. But Sam and Dean won't take it. When Barthamus expresses surprise that they won't take it because he killed Shrike, Dean's response is, yeah, that, and we just don't like you. Barthamus grabs Alice and threatens to kill her if Sam and Dean don't give him the chest with his bones in it. Sam and Dean say they'll do it, and Dean's still standing, like they're standing, the trunk is open to them, and Dean kind of pushes the trunk a little bit, and Barthamus tells Alice to get the trunk. Dean's kind of talking to Alice and saying, you do what you have to do, stuff to that effect, making sure with his eyes to get her to look down in the trunk. And she looks down, Barthamus can't see her because she's got her back to him. Dean managed to slip a lighter into the trunk. Alice makes like she's going to, grab the bones or move the trunk or whatever, and instead grabs the lighter and sets the bones on fire, and Barthelmess goes up in flames. The problem is he's still holding the spell. Sam tries to grab the piece of paper, but it winds up burning as well. And we see the Winchesters and Alice just kind of standing there like, and we get a quick blackout. We come back, we see Sam and Dean bringing Alice to a bus stop. And she's obviously going somewhere else to try and sort out her life or, get her life back or whatever. We never do find out why she sold her soul. I think that's interesting. I also don't know if that means that the contract that she had is now null and void since Barthelmess is the one she sold her soul to, and we know that he's dead. Does that nullify her contract? Or does some other demon have it? We don't know. But she thanks Sam and Dean for their help, and before she gets on the bus, Dean tells her, stay weird. Which I was like, I like that. We cut to back at the Batcave in Lebanon, Kansas, and Sam and Dean sitting there at the table. It looks like it's in the kitchen, I think. And they're talking about Jack and the fact that things kind of went sideways, but which is, Sam brings up they're back to square one. Dean's response is, we'll figure something else out. And if that doesn't work, then we'll move on to the next, and then whatever's after that. We just keep working, because that's what we do. Sam says, it feels really good to hear you talk like that again. Dean's response is, I'll drink to that. And they clink their beer bottles, and the episode ends. The title of the episode is really interesting. The title of the episode, The Scorpion and the Frog, is a fable. It's a fable about a scorpion and a frog that are on the side of a riverbank. And they want to get across to the other side. And the scorpion says to the frog, well, if you carry me on your back, I can get to the other side, and you'll get to the other side, and everything will be great. The frog says, are you crazy? You're a scorpion. You'll sting me. You'll kill me. And the scorpion says, no, I won't. I won't kill you, because if you're taking me across on your back and I sting you, you'll die, and I'll fall in the water and drown. So let's work together. So the frog says, okay. So the scorpion gets on the frog's back, and they go out into the river. Halfway between the other side of the river, the scorpion stings the frog. And as the frog dies, and as it's sinking into the water, he asks the scorpion, why did you do that? You're going to die too. The scorpion's answer is, I'm a scorpion. It's what I do. So I think what they were trying to say with this episode is, we do what we do. We do what we need to do. We do what we're programmed to do. The Winchesters are born to hunt demons. They're not born to make deals with them. And the Winchesters save the day. That's what they do. I liked The Scorpion and the Frog. I give it 4 bouquets out of 5. I thought it was a really interesting episode. I liked the heist aspect of it. I thought that was kind of neat. I was happy Dean got to get a piece of pie. I was like, that's great. I would like to really quickly talk about Christy Burke, the young lady that played Alice. I like her. I like her a lot. I hope we get to see Alice again. I think that would be cool. Some people have complained, oh, Alice is just a ripoff of Charlie. I'm like, I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. I don't get that feeling anyway. But I hope we see Alice again. Next week's episode, oh boy. Next week's episode, The Bad Place. This is the mid-season finale. And we know that we're going to see Jack in this episode, and he's going to be working with a young woman trying to prove that he is not destined to be evil by doing one thing that he knows Sam and Dean would consider good, rescuing Mary Winchester from the other Earth. Will it work? Well, I'll have to wait and see. And that is going to wrap it up here for another week on Platinum Rose's Garden. I hope you enjoyed my show. If you have any comments, questions, queries, complaints, anything you'd like to send my way, please send it to platinumroselle@yahoo.com. Put PRG in the header, and I'll know you want me to read it on the air, which I'll be more than happy to do. I hope you will check out Subject Cinema, our movie podcast, over at subjectcinema.com. And also, if you're so inclined, you can check out Catastrophe Vortex, which is TC's show, our other list show, Front Row 5 and 10, and the other shows that are part of our family, including Cavebabble with Eric and Valerie Lyon, and hopefully Comic Grotto with Aunt B and Pee-wee will be coming back soon. And I hope that everybody out there has a great week. And this is Platinum Rose Lady signing off for another week, reminding you to love the ones you hug the ones you love, and take some time to stop and smell the roses. I'll see you around. Bye!
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.